Everyone at the office froze when she said it. "Hi, sir. My father had the same birthmark." The words hung in the air like a bomb about to explode. The billionaire CEO, Jackson Cole, known for his ice-cold heart and no-sense demeanor, looked like he had seen a ghost. No one had ever spoken to him like that. No one dared. But this bold, young, internal black girl with braids and fire in her eyes just shattered his world with a single sentence. What came next shocked the entire company. Before you scroll, subscribe now, because this story is about to unfold a truth so deep, so powerful, and so life-changing it'll leave you speechless. The girl who didn't belong, Mara Johnson, had never felt like she belonged. Raised by a single mother in the South Side of Chicago, she'd grown up tough, smart, and with a heart full of ambition. She had dreams bigger than the cracked sidewalks of her neighborhood could hold. So when she landed an internship at Cole Dynamics, one of the most powerful tech firms in America, she knew it was her shot. But walking through those glass doors, in Midtown Manhattan, where everyone wore suits worth more than her entire college tuition, she felt the weight of every eye on her. She wasn't just the youngest intern, she was also the only black girl in the entire building. People whispered, snickered. Some even asked if she was in the wrong office. But Amara didn't flinch. Her mama didn't raise a quitter. She worked twice as hard, stayed twice as late. Still, she never once saw Jackson Cole, the elusive billionaire founder who everyone spoke about like a myth. He built the company. From his garage, people said, ruthless, genius, heartless, no family, no weaknesses. One morning, fate intervened. Amara was delivering reports to the top floor when the elevator doors opened, and there he was, Jackson Cole in the flesh. Silver hair, intense blue eyes, tailored charcoal suit. He looked at her like she wasn't even human. Lost. He asked coldly. "No, sir. Reports for you," she said, extending the folder. That's when it happened. Sleeve lifted just slightly as he reached, revealing a strange, jagged birthmark on his wrist. Her heart stopped. She knew that mark. Her father had the exact same one. She remembered it clearly, even though he died when she was just 5. The same shape, same placement. She stared. Jackson noticed. "Is there a problem?" he snapped. "Hi, sir," she said quietly. "My father had the same birthmark." The room fell silent. His eyes locked onto hers, something behind them crumbling. Then, without a word, he snatched the folder and stormed away. But that single moment would be the crack in the demand. The truth was about to pour out. Secrets buried in the boardroom the next few days were a whirlwind. Mara was moved from intern duties to special assistant. Under the direct supervision of Mr. Cole, everyone whispered that she was being groomed or worse. But the truth was more complicated. Jackson didn't speak of the moment, didn't ask. But Amara could feel it. He was watching her. One night, after staying late to reorganize old files, she found a locked drawer in his private office. Inside was a faded photograph of a younger Jackson standing beside a woman who looked just like her mother. Her stomach dropped. She ran home, woke her mom, and demanded answers. Tears welled up in her mother's eyes. "I was young," he said. "He wasn't ready. When I got pregnant, he cut me off completely. He promised to send money, but he never did." Jackson Cole. Amara whispered. Her mother nodded. "I never told you because I didn't want you to carry that pain." Amara's whole body trembled. Jackson Cole was her father, the billionaire who built an empire while her mother worked 2 jobs just to keep the lights on. Rage and sorrow collided inside her. The next morning, she barged into his office. "You knew?" she hissed. Jackson didn't even pretend to be confused. "I had my suspicions," he admitted. "The way you walk, the way you think. You have her fire and mine. Why didn't you come for me?" she shouted. His voice cracked. Because I was a coward. He looked older than ever in that moment. Because I chose power over people, I never forgot her or you. She stared at him. You have one chance. You either do right by me and my mother, or I go public with everything, including the photo. Jackson sat back, silent for a long time. Then finally, he nodded. All right, let's do this right. But not in the shadows. You're not just my daughter. You're my heir. Chapter 3. The storm before the truth news broke like wildfire. Billionaire Jackson Cole has secret daughter. The media frenzy was unreal. Reporters camped outside Amara's apartment. Paparazzi followed her to school. People questioned her integrity, accused her of being a gold digger. Even employees within the company plotted to have her removed. She was called into HR, bombarded with rumors of forged DNA tests, scandal, and inheritance lies. But Jackson stood firm. He released a public statement, admitting to abandoning her and pledging to make it right. He named her co-founder of the company's new community outreach program, putting her in charge of $50 million in grants for underprivileged youth. Some called it a publicity stunt. Others protested. A few board members tried to force him out. That's when Jackson collapsed. A heart attack severe. He was rushed to the hospital, barely surviving emergency surgery. As he lay unconscious, the board voted to strip him of his power. Amara was locked out of company emails, her ID revoked. They thought she was just a girl with no experience, no real power. But they underestimated her. Using the connections she'd built and the documents, she'd uncovered proof of embezzlement by the same board members Amara called a press conference. With live cameras rolling, she exposed every dirty deal, every backroom agreement, every lie. Jackson, awake but weak, watched from his hospital bed with tears in his eyes. The board was dismantled. The company's stocks soared. But more importantly, Mara proved she wasn't just a daughter or a headline. She was a force. Chapter 4. Blood Redemption and Legacy Months Passed. Jackson slowly recovered, not just physically, but emotionally. He met Amara's mother, again apologized sincerely, something the world never expected from the icy billionaire. Amara took her role seriously. She used the company's wealth to fund schools, scholarships, shelters. She visited the South Side and handed out laptops to kids who reminded her of herself. The media eventually stopped calling her secret. Daughter Ann started calling her the future of tech. But the biggest twist came at the annual shareholders meeting. Jackson stepped on stage, gray and frail, holding Amara's hand. I built this company, he said, but I almost lost everything that mattered. This young woman beside me, my daughter, reminded me that legacy is not just about wealth. It's about who we lift up with it. He stepped down, named Amara the new CEO. There was an audible gasp in the room. But it was final. And the shareholders cheered. In her first address, Amara looked directly into the camera and said, to every girl who ever felt unseen, every kid who grew up without a father, every young person fighting to be heard, I see you, and I promise to make space for you in this world. The crowd rose. Applause thundered. Jackson wiped his eyes. And as they walked off stage together, father and daughter, once strangers, now unstoppable Alice de World, understood something that couldn't be measured in dollars. That truth, no matter how deeply buried, always finds a way to rise.